Good evening. It's a $500 million plan that calls for new laws that defy the NRA, but also fall short of some demands made by the Parkland shooting survivors. Today, Governor Rick Scott brought his plan of action to Jacksonville, exactly 2 weeks since the massacre.
He sure did, and his plan outlines more than a dozen changes for school safety here in Florida, including stricter gun laws. Shelby Danielson is live now with more. Shelby?
Well, the governor is being praised by some and he's being criticized by others for this multi-million-dollar action plan that he's presenting. Now, among many changes, one of the biggest ones that he is proposing is the age. He wants to make it 21 years and up in order to buy a firearm. He also wants to ban the sale of bump stocks, and he wants to increase law enforcement. He wants there to be an officer per every 1,000 students across school campuses in Florida. He wants to put $50 million toward mental health resources, not just making those resources more readily available on a school campus, but adding counselors so students know they have someone to talk to. Now, how are our local officials responding to this? The sheriff, the mayor, our school superintendents? Well, mostly favorably, but with some opinions of their own.
The city will do its part to make sure that our children are safe.
I want to tell you that we have a governor who's not afraid to lead in a crisis.
Sheriff Mike Williams and Mayor Lenny Curry giving their support to the governor on Wednesday as he called for statewide change.
The reforms that I proposed make it virtually impossible for anyone who has mental illnesses to have access to a gun.
He mentions training school personnel if requested by the school board, but insists he is not for arming all teachers in the classroom.
I asked educators to come to Tallahassee and say, what do you think we should be doing?
Educators like St. Johns County Superintendent Tim Forson.
To have that expectation, I think, is unfair to a teacher and unfair to an educator.
His district, along with Duval County, says teachers are there to teach.
In some ways, it is passing a responsibility of a community as a whole onto teachers.
He says mace isn't the answer, and the burden to protect them should be on those who wear a badge. The sheriff agrees.
Can't take mace to a gunfight, so no, that's not the right move.
He's against arming all teachers, but he's open to making an exception for staff members who want to be armed. He's more outspoken on another issue, though, gun legislation.
And as a responsible gun owner, a Second Amendment supporter, an NRA member, I don't have a problem with moving that purchase age to 21. But whatever's done legislatively cannot impact my ability as a father to take my son hunting.
He believes laws for purchasing a firearm should be separate from possessing a firearm.
There should be no law, nothing at all, that impacts, again, if you are of age, whatever that age happens to be, if you are mentally sound and you're not a criminal, then you should be able to purchase a gun. So that can never be against the law. If I want to give him a shotgun or a rifle so we can go spend quality time together and shoot and hunt and do that kind of things, I need to be able to do that.
He says it's complicated, but he's glad it's being discussed.
Would there ever be a law that you'd support that would have someone under the age of 21 have to be in the presence of someone who's over 21?
That can be part of the equation. Again, something to talk about.
Now, keep in mind, local school districts like Duval County have their own law enforcement, have their own police department, but the governor said today that the buck stops with the sheriff, that the sheriffs across the state of Florida are the ones who need to take responsibility for putting money in the right places, adding law enforcement, and making sure that public safety is a top priority. Reporting live downtown, Shelby Danielson, First Coast News on your side.